I actually got in a car accident, hit a patch of black ice, and I hit a tree about 70 miles an hour. And so when I hit the tree, my car wrapped around the tree, hit me on this left side, totally pancaked me in, jaws of life, all that kind of stuff. I was unconscious. I don't remember any of this. This is just a story from my passenger. One of my best friends, he go to pros in the passenger seat. He woke up, there was a bunch of smoke and everything. I was bleeding from my ears, my nose, my eyes, my mouth. Sitting there totally unresponsive. He was beating on my chest, wouldn't wake up. So, and it was really foggy that day as well. But a neighbor came outside because we hit his tree, and he's like, "Oh, you need to call 911," and my friend was screaming, "Yeah." So they called the ambulance. Finally, jaws of life pulled me out of the car, rushed to the hospital. Believe I flatlined once or twice while I was in the ambulance, and then got to the hospital, major trauma. I still have the medical records. I was losing blood as fast as they were putting it in. So they ended up giving me 19 pints of blood that first day. And so the floor of the emergency room was just red, a red sea. And so they got me stable, and one of the best hospitals in the Midwest, Methodist. How many of you guys have heard of it? They're really known for trauma, and they wanted to send me there. It was too foggy for the helicopter to fly, so they rode me up in an ambulance, went there. So they found out that I had brain injury to the cerebellum, a stroke during that time. Totally tore up my abdomen, so all my organs were shoved up into my chest cavity, lungs up into my shoulder, liver was lacerated, diaphragm was split in half, spleen was totally destroyed. They had to take that out. My pelvis was broken in two, right in the middle. So what ended up happening is I was in a coma for, I believe, 2 or 3 weeks. Woke up from that, rehab for 3 months, and I finally left the hospital. And what happened was, when I broke my pelvis, despite the injury to the cerebellum, which affected coordination and muscle spasticity and muscular strength and endurance and all that kind of stuff, my pubic symphysis, the piece of cartilage right in the middle of the pelvis, it fused together. It was broken, so that fused together. So my pelvis wouldn't flex. And I progressed really, really quickly as far as, recovering from all that. They were completely amazed that I was able to, walk as soon as I did. I was lifting weights, progressed super, super high up. And, that lasted a couple years. And then, because my gait was different than before, and I had to, my body had to adapt to my new structure, my pelvis, and the loss of signaling from the cerebellum to my motor functions, I started ending up having pain, and that pain was all in my hips, all in my joints, my spine froze up, just a lot of muscle tension and a lot of chronic pain. And my body just didn't move like it used to. I had to think about movement, think about a step, but that never deterred me. I always went hiking. I kept doing it. And then, so after I graduated high school, I went to Miami University of Ohio, and I studied sports medicine. And the reason I did that was because I was trying to fix myself. I saw so many, traditional doctors, and they just told me, this is the way it is. We can put you on painkillers. You can be on them for the rest of your life. You're going to develop a tolerance to them. But we can't do anything about your brain. That's it. And that was very frustrating. So I went and studied sports medicine, and I tried to figure out everything I could neuromuscular wise, and I just tried everything. And then I think even when I was in high school, I think I came across stem cells, and I knew what happened to my brain cells die, and I knew what happened, and I was like, whoa, these cells, these are live cells going into the body, intelligence, like you were saying before. And getting past that barrier, I mean, they had, in my mind of thinking, they had the possibility of getting past that barrier that all these doctors said there's nothing that they could do for me. So that was very intriguing. Just for me, myself, and other people have been through that situation. And then so I wrote a bunch of articles in college about stem cells. One article, it was actually published in a magazine, a sports medicine magazine, and it was regarding like the ethics of professional athletes using stem cells, because I heard that too. I mean, that was all over the news when I was in college, 2014, 2015, and whether or not it's performance enhancing, or if it was ethical for them to keep playing as their body deteriorated, and so it just piqued my interest. And after I graduated college, this was my goal. I was like, okay, let's just make enough money to go fly overseas and get stem cells and treat yourself. Like that was what I was gonna do, and that's been my goal for the last 5 years. But what happened, I would say the last 3 or 4 years, my body really started to deteriorate. Just a lot more pain, a lot more missteps. I just felt like, just like the Reaper is breathing down my neck, like your body is like failing, and it wasn't getting any better. No matter if I changed my diet or my exercise regimen, or stopped lifting heavy weights and went to TRX, or I tried everything, and it just seemed like the more use I put on my pelvis and lower extremities, the worse it got. I mean, just period. Until I met Dr. Kong, and I talked to her on the phone for probably 45 minutes, and she was the first doctor. See, I've seeked out a lot of stem cell doctors over the years, and they don't have an answer for me. They won't talk to me. Just straight money. It's just, we're gonna need this much money up front. You're gonna have to come down to Panama, or Tijuana, or wherever. And just none of it just added up, because I was worried about stem cells and what it would do to me, and the things I've heard, the negative reactions, things like that. And then I talked to Dr. Kong, and I realized, like, okay, like she has far exceeded anyone else I've talked to in the last 10 years about this. And then so we decided to do a treatment. I came up here, I talked to her, I met with her we talked on the phone first, and then I wanted to see the facility. I'm very thorough. So I wanted to see the facility, and she took me out to lunch, and we just talked, and everything she said just made sense, and I just knew, like, this, this could possibly be the answer. And then I came out for the treatment, and I was scared, and I was scared on a couple levels. I was scared that it wouldn't work, or it would change my personality or something like that. I had no idea what was gonna happen. So I came up, I got the IV infusion, and immediately I felt different. I don't know if it was the vitamin pack with, it was probably that. Immediately that I felt different, but it did feel different, and I was like, okay, this feels great. it was just a positive energy by everyone, like the staff and her, like, and they told me, like, you're gonna get better. And then on the train ride home, I took the train up here. And on the train ride home, I just started to notice just the spasticity in my legs, you know, just a weird feeling in my legs. And I remember getting off the train in Oceanside to get on to the train that goes to Escondido, and my stride was different. It felt more relaxed. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, this is just a couple hours. I mean, we're talking 6 hours after. And just the pain and the pressure, like, was almost immediately released away. And then I went home that night.
He missed his next train, by the way. He was so excited.
Oh yeah, I did miss. I'm taking over. I went home that night, got a good night's sleep, woke up the next day, noticed this kind of the same thing, like the spasticity was down. I didn't feel the pain that when I would like wake up in the morning before, it'd be a struggle just for me to like get upright, and you know, it would take me a couple minutes just to get out of bed, really, just all the pressure and the pain that I've had, you know, through my lower extremities, hips and everything. And it just felt like someone just like really just pressed this button, and it was just, everything was relieved. And I mean, not 100%, but it was progressive. And the next couple of days I was really excited, you know, I was like, whoa, I think this is, you know, there's something to this. And I started going to the gym, and even with just doing, like, I'm religious as far as like going to the gym and things, even just doing things like a shoulder press, I felt different fibers in my shoulders moving the weight as opposed to the last, you know, 9 years. Like it felt like a different mind and muscle connection. And that just continued to happen. And I started, you know, hiking and doing things like that. And it just, everything just came more naturally, and it's still continuing on right now. I don't know how many weeks it's been.
4.
4 weeks. And it just seems like every week I make a progression, and it's progressing things that I didn't even think it would too. Like cardiovascular endurance, cognition, I noticed my focus is getting better. Little things, just like my roommates were all skeptical going into this, and then they told me last week, one of my roommates, you know, it's expensive to live in this state, by the way. So one of my roommates like lives in the living room, like his bed is in the living room, and I have to walk through the hallway at night to go to my bathroom. And he said a couple weeks ago, he was like, dude, I think these stem cells are working because you got up to go to the bathroom the other night, and I didn't even recognize it was you, because he knows my gait. He knows like how my feet like touch the hardwood floor and go to the bathroom, because, you know, he hears it every single night. And he just said, like, I thought it was Joey, which is my other roommate. And he was like, but it was you. He was like, that's crazy. And, you know, my coworkers too have noticed that I'm walking better, my gait's getting better. And it's really exciting. It feels like, you know, I spent so many years just deteriorating and thinking there was no outcome, and this is just completely just done a 180. And that's when I realized that there's millions of other people out there that were in my similar situation that, you know, think that they're coping. You know, they're coping with their pain. They're deteriorating. They're, you know, the clock is ticking, or the sand ball is coming out. And I think, you know, this can improve just millions of lives. Mm-hmm. And that's why I decided to work for Dr. Khan. I work for Dr. Khan now, because I believe in this so much. Because out of the last 10 years, I tried everything. Hyperbaric chambers, all kinds of nutrition, every supplement in the book. I have a degree in pharmacology as well. You know, just trying everything, every little guinea pig, every little thing to do is just being my own guinea pig. And this is the most dramatic thing that I've ever felt, and I'm continuing to feel it day by day, and it's completely blown my mind, expectations, everything, and it's gonna be the future. I mean, I have no doubt. It's completely crazy. You know, just how she was talking about the intelligence, that stuck with me a lot. And it doesn't feel like a drug at all. It feels like something different, like something is happening. Something in me is making those signals, loosening that tension, taking away the pain. It's very, very weird, but it's great. So.